Before Jon Jones moved up to heavyweight, critics said the division was a different breed. They said he couldn't handle a natural giant like Ciryl Gane. But history has proven just how dangerous Gane truly is. We watched Gane go toe-to-toe with terrifying Tom Aspinall in a razor-thin, chaotic first round. We watched Gane completely dismantle and absolutely destroy the multi-division powerhouse Alex Pereira. Nobody could handle Gane's movement and his size except for Jon Jones. Jones didn't just beat Gane, he completely dominated him with a terrifying display of pure wrestling strength, ending the fight in just over 2 minutes. Nobody else could do that to Gane. Today we are breaking down the exact training secrets Jon Jones used to build historic wrestling power that cemented him as the undisputed GOAT. To understand how Jon ragdolled a man who gave Tom Aspinall fits, you have to look at how he built his lower body. He used the brutal, unforgiving pinned Zercher squat. By holding 435 pounds directly in the crook of his elbow, Jones forced his core and upper back into a state of constant tension. But the true genius is that he is doing this from pins, starting each rep from a complete dead stop at the bottom. When Alex Pereira tried to use his kickboxing against Gane, he couldn't handle the fluid movement and leverage shifts. But Jon trained his nervous system to explode from static, compromised positions. In wrestling, you don't get a bouncy rhythm, you get stuck in dead stop angles. The pin Zercher squat gave Jon the raw horsepower to lock his arms around Gane and instantly overpower his frame without needing momentum. When Ciryl Gane fought Tom Aspinall, Gane used his elite footwork and frames to keep space and survive the early storm. To ensure Gane could never escape his grasp, Jon utilized elevated inverted rows. Most people think wrestling is about pushing, but high-level grappling is about the pull. By elevating his heel, Jon dramatically increased the load on his upper back. To keep his body perfectly straight, his glutes and hamstrings had to fire simultaneously with his lats. This exercise built an unbreakable frame. The moment Jones' hands connected around Gane's torso, it was a vice grip. There was no slack, no space to breathe, and absolutely no way for Gane to use his trademark agility. Jones' back strength turned the octagon into a phone booth. When Alex Pereira fought Gane, Pereira lacked the heavy, grounded wrestling base to stop Gane from circling out. Jon anticipated this. To build an unsweepable heavy top pressure, he turned to the rigid row, holding a high plank on dumbbells while rowing alternating weights forces the body into extreme anti-rotation. The second Jon lifts one heavy dumbbell, his entire core has to aggressively fire to stop his hips from tilting or twisting. This is exactly how Jon Jones solidified his GOAT status underground. When you take down an elite athlete like Gane, they are going to twist and try to throw you off. A normal fighter gets swept, but Jones' core was trained to remain perfectly level and heavy, neutralizing every single defensive movement Gane tried to make. He essentially anchored Gane to the canvas. Heavyweight wrestling drains your shoulders faster than anything else. We've seen great fighters tire out after just one grueling clinch exchange. Jon knew that to dominate Gane, his shoulders needed bulletproof endurance. That's where the weighted plate orbits came into play. Moving a 45-pound bumper plate in continuous tight circles around his head required an elite blend of shoulder mobility, rotator cuff stability, and constant core engagement. While other heavyweights get stiff and heavy-armed in the clinch, leaving them vulnerable to Gane's elite striking, Jones' shoulders were conditioned to be fluid and loose, yet incredibly strong at extreme angles. This gave him the hand fighting dexterity to easily bypass Gane's guard and secure dominant head control. Raw strength is useless if you don't have the speed to apply it. To bridge the gap between heavy lifting and sudden execution, Jon implemented explosive plyometrics, merciful overhead slams, and sit-up med ball throws. When Jon slams the ball into the floor, he is training his hips and core to transfer power instantaneously. And the sit-up throws teach his abdominal wall to snap like a whip from a fully extended position. This is the exact kinetic sequence that shocked the world. Ciryl Gane, who handled the power of Tom Aspinall and completely destroyed Alex Pereira, was caught completely off guard by the sheer velocity of Jones' level change. It wasn't just a takedown, it was a kinetic explosion. Jon dropped and closed the distance before Gane's elite kickboxing brain could even register the threat. Before UFC 285, people thought Ciryl Gane was the unkillable future of the heavyweight division, and his later performances proved it, giving Aspinall a dogfight and putting an absolute clinic against Alex Pereira. Gane is a certified destroyer, but Jon Jones operates on a completely different stratosphere. By utilizing his precise training routine, from Zercher Pin Squats to explosive med ball slams, Jon didn't just build a heavy body, he engineered a Pacific Wrestling-centric powerhouse capable of shutting down the most dangerous striker in heavyweight history. Nobody else could dominate Ciryl Gane like this. Nobody else could make a world champion look like an amateur. The debate is officially over. Jon Jones is the undisputed, unassailable GOAT. What do you think was the most impressive part of Jones's heavyweight transformation? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Shotgun X out.